A slap echoes in the marble corridor. No context, no gentle lead-in. A single moment seizes your breath. Mara Delaney, her hand still raised, has just struck her husband, Galen Delaney, across the face. The hush in the hallway is deafening, as though the entire world paused to register the impact. In that tense silence, Mara's eyes burn with a mix of rage and heartbreak. Galen's security detail stands frozen. They're used to handling threats from corporate rivals, not from the very wife of their billionaire employer. Mara, trembling, drops her hand. She's pregnant only a few months along, but the raw intensity in her face suggests she's forgotten fear. Even in her delicate state, adrenaline spikes, pushing her beyond caution. Galen says nothing. A faint red mark blooms on his cheek. He rubs it gently, confusion in his gaze. Anyone who knows him, CEO of Delaney Global, net worth in the billions, would never expect to see him cornered like this. But here he stands, pinned down by a furious woman half his size. She clenches her fists, fighting back tears as employees pretend not to stare. Her voice trembles. "How could you do this to me?" in the corner? An older woman, Cecilia Bloom, a longtime family friend, observes silently. She grips her purse with both hands, her knuckles white. This single slap, as shocking as it is, feels like the climax of an unseen storm, something bigger than a mere marital spat. A phone rings. An assistant scurries to hush it. The overhead lighting flickers. Or maybe that's just the jolt of raw energy in the air. Mara takes a step back. She looks at Galen like he's a stranger. Her belly is just starting to show under her tailored blouse, a fragile promise of new life overshadowed by the tension swirling around them. No one moves to intervene. This is a moment that demands the onlooker's absolute stillness. It's as if they collectively realize the story behind this slap could unravel everything they thought they knew about the Delaney family, about their boss, the real estate mogul, about the mother of his unborn child. Someone whispers, "What just happened?" Another tries to hush them. The tension is unbearable. Mara inhales shakily, then pushes past Galen without another word. Every step echoes as she strides toward the exit. Eyes from every corner track her. They want answers. They want to know the source of her fury. The reason a man who holds entire city blocks in his portfolio is now standing here, stunned into speechlessness. As the heavy door closes behind her, the corridor remains in stunned silence. Then a faint breath from Cecilia, who steps forward to place a hand on Galen's shoulder. He flinches. For a second, it seems he'll speak, but instead, he turns away. Footsteps fade. The tension lingers, throbbing like a wound. You think that was intense? The real story hasn't even begun. Something monstrous lurks behind that slap, an injustice that cuts deeper than any quick burst of rage. A betrayal so profound that one blow could never be enough. Mara stands on the balcony of the Delaney penthouse that same evening, gazing out at the city lights. The scrape of a chair behind her signals she's no longer alone. Cecilia Bloom steps out, careful not to startle her. Crisp night air washes over them both. Mara barely moves. Her eyes trace the skyline, a horizon shaped in part by her husband's ventures. Gleaming towers that represent wealth, power, and a grip on the city's future. Right now, it feels like a mocking reminder of how small she feels inside. She's pregnant, yes, but with each passing day, that pregnancy morphs from joy into a complicated weight. Cecilia softly asks, "Should I call the doctor? You seemed—" Mara shakes her head. "I'm fine, physically, but inside, she can't finish." Her throat constricts. She's never felt more vulnerable. For weeks, she sensed something dark unraveling in her marriage. Galen's secret phone calls, the hush-hush meetings, that strange credit card statement. Cecilia places a reassuring hand on Mara's arm. "Talk to me. Let it out." A tear escapes Mara's eye. She hates crying. She's built her life on composure. Grew up in a modest household, met Galen at a charity gala, fell in love with his generosity and unwavering ambition. But now that ambition feels predatory. He's cut me out of everything, she says quietly, voice trembling. I'm not just talking about business. He's keeping secrets. She remembers the day she discovered a series of unexplainable charges, a suite at a five-star hotel, designer jewelry, double bookings for private jets. When she confronted him, he brushed her off, called them business perks. Then there's the rumor swirling around the office about a particular female contractor. Mara's own employees pity her behind her back. She can feel it. Cecilia's gaze hardens. I've seen men in power do foolish things, but you're his wife. You have rights. Don't let him. Mara sighs, placing a protective hand over her belly. He's not just a man. Sissy, he's Galen Delaney. The board worships him. The press adores him. Every philanthropic gala features him as the star donor. Who would listen to me over him? A hush settles between them. The city below keeps moving, oblivious to her heartbreak. Then Cecilia, who has known Galen for decades, quietly says, you need to gather proof. If you suspect wrongdoing, don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. And don't forget the child you're carrying. Mara closes her eyes. She can almost feel the baby shift inside her, as if responding to the turmoil. I won't let him take everything from me, she whispers, as though making a vow. Then a sudden ping from Cecilia's phone disrupts the hush. A text message, perhaps. Cecilia checks it, and her face pales slightly before she tucks the device away. Mara notices but says nothing. A faint look of concern flickers across Cecilia's features. They stand side by side, the city lights reflecting in their eyes. A silent observer, one supportive friend, a pregnant woman on the brink of devastation. And somewhere in the city, Galen moves pieces on a chessboard only he understands. Dark clouds loom, and tomorrow threatens a greater storm. Late that same night, again, Mara paces the master suite. A swirl of anxiety keeps her awake. She stops at a large, antique mirror, studying her reflection. She's still the same woman, graceful, with dark hair elegantly pinned back, but her eyes are rimmed with worry. She recalls the day she married Galen Delaney in a modest lakeside ceremony. Back then, he wasn't a billionaire. He was an ambitious dreamer with a heart for risk. She admired that spark in him. Time changed him, or maybe success revealed who he truly was. It's a thought that gnaws at her. Did she ever really know him? On the vanity table lies an unopened jewelry box. It arrived earlier, another gift from Galen. She flips it open. Inside is a diamond bracelet, immaculate, shining under the lamp. It looks expensive enough to feed entire families for years. She snaps it shut, frustrated. This isn't what she wants. She wants honesty, not hush gifts. A gentle knock on the door. Mara. It's Sullivan Madsen, Galen's personal advisor, a man in his late 50s, with a calm demeanor and watchful eyes. Mara opens the door halfway. What is it? Sullivan, she asks. Wary. He sighs, stepping back to respect her space. He wanted me to see if you needed anything. Medical attention, or I'm fine. Mara interjects. Tell him I don't want anything from him. Sullivan hesitates. If you'd let me speak candidly, Mrs. Delaney, I believe there are matters you should know, but I'm in a difficult position. He glances down the hallway, ensuring no one is eavesdropping. Mara crosses her arms. Go on. He swallows. Galen has been in meetings with, well, let's say he's trying to expand Delaney Global in a direction that raises ethical concerns, offshore holdings, high-stakes property deals, and certain dealings with people of questionable reputation. Her heart hammers. This goes beyond a mere affair. If that suspicion is even correct, he's risking everything for these deals, she asks. Sullivan exhales slowly. Yes, and he's not listening to counsel. He's pushing forward. I wanted you to know, because if something collapses, it won't just be him who suffers. You and the baby could be left with a mess. Mara stares at him, her stomach twisting. She searches his face for any sign of deceit. He appears earnest, worried, a loyal employee who knows how the Delaney empire truly functions. Thank you, she whispers. I need to think. She closes the door gently. Left alone, she rests a hand on her stomach. Not only might Galen be unfaithful, he might also be gambling everything they have. She flicks on her phone, searching for any hidden statements or tips that could confirm Sullivan's words. She finds odd mentions, Project Redwood, Block A acquisition, and something cryptic about arrangements for the next quarter. Her chest tightens. She's part of this, whether she likes it or not. She has to protect herself, her unborn child. The baby kicks gently, as if sensing her fear. Steadying herself, Mara vows to get to the truth. She closes her eyes, imagining the unstoppable tide of revelations heading her way. She expects heartbreak. She never expects the scale of betrayal. Morning comes and Mara decides she can't stay silent. She calls for a private meeting with Holden Price, Delaney Global's head of security. In a vacant conference room, sunlight pours through floor-to-ceiling windows, revealing the city below. Holden arrives, posture stiff, ex-military discipline evident in every step. He greets her formally. "Mrs. Delaney, you requested me." She nods, forcing composure. "Yes, I need information." His expression remains neutral. About, she steels herself, bracing for pushback. About Mr. Delaney's recent movements, particularly after office hours. Who he meets, where he goes. If you have logs or details, I want them. Holden hesitates. "I serve the interests of the Delaney family. But typically, my loyalty is to Mr. Delaney, as he's the principal." Mara sighs, frustration creeping in. "I am also a Delaney, and I'm the one carrying his child. I suspect wrongdoing. If I'm right, this could harm our family's reputation, the company, everything. Don't you think you have a duty to protect the entire Delaney legacy?" He studies her, perhaps weighing loyalty against morality. "If you're worried about physical harm, I can..." She shakes her head. "It's not about that alone. I suspect financial misconduct, possibly an affair. I need to confirm the truth before it's too late." Silence hangs. Then Holden quietly says, "I can provide time-stamped records. Nothing explicit, but you'll see meeting locations, timelines, and who was on his security detail each night." Mara's shoulders relax a fraction. "That's all I need. Thank you." He nods once. "I'll discreetly forward them." As he leaves, Mara feels a pang of guilt. She's basically investigating her own husband, but she can't ignore the signs. She checks her phone. It's nearly time for her prenatal appointment. The realization stings. She's facing the most vulnerable phase of her life, all while suspecting her spouse of tearing down the life they built. In the hallway, she passes staffers who avoid eye contact. The tension from yesterday's slap has rippled through the building. Whispers and glances follow her. She tries to maintain dignity. Suddenly, she hears a familiar voice behind her. Galen. "Mara, wait." She spins, heart pounding. He steps closer, adjusting the cufflinks on his tailored suit. "We need to talk," he says, eyes flicking around to ensure no bystanders. "I agree," Mara replies coolly, though her pulse thrums. He gestures toward his private office. They enter, and he closes the door. The space is immaculate, sleek, modern furniture, panoramic view, trophies of success. He motions for her to sit, but she remains standing. He exhales. "About yesterday, I'm sorry, I know you were under stress." She almost scoffs. "You're sorry I slapped you or sorry you gave me reason to?" He bristles, expression tight. "I never intended to hurt you. But your accusations, they're baseless." Her anger flares. "Baseless, then explain your secret meetings, the hush-hush deals, and the contractor you've been seeing at hotels." He stiffens but recovers quickly. "Those are business deals, and I won't pretend to be perfect, but you're exaggerating. You should trust me." Mara's voice trembles. "I did. That's what brought us here." For an instant, he looks almost regretful. Then his phone vibrates. He checks it, grimaces. I have to go. We'll finish this later. She watches him exit, the ring of power around him intact. She stands there, alone with more questions than answers, and the sense that a greater betrayal lies ahead. That afternoon, Mara heads to an upscale cafe to meet Cecilia Bloom for lunch. The chatter of well-dressed patrons fills the air. Soft classical music hums in the background. Mara slides into a corner booth, anxious. Cecilia arrives with an apologetic smile. I'm so sorry I'm late. This day has been chaotic. She sets her purse down, eyes scanning Mara's face. Are you okay? Mara musters a weak smile. Define okay. Oh, I'm pregnant. My marriage is crumbling, and my trust is in tatters. Cecilia's gaze softens. She leans in. I brought you something. Might shed some light on things. She reaches into her purse, pulling out an old photograph. In it, Galen stands beside another man older, stern, with piercing eyes on the steps of some remote property. Do you recognize that man? Cecilia asks. Mara studies the image. No. Who is he? His name was Edmund Dane. He was Galen's mentor years ago. A real estate magnate with a notorious reputation. Rumor had it he dabbled in organized crime to finance his deals. A chill snakes down Mara's spine. What does that have to do with us? Cecilia sighs. When you married Galen, he'd already distanced himself from that world. But I'm starting to suspect he never fully cut ties. Some of these suspicious expansions he's making, they mirror the methods Edmund was infamous for. Mara looks at the photo again. Galen seems younger, hungry, and overshadowed by this imposing figure. A new puzzle piece falls into place. Perhaps his ambition was born from darker mentors than she realized. Sullivan hinted that Galen's making high-stakes deals, offshore accounts, questionable partners. She murmurs. Cecilia nods. My source says it's bigger than questionable, potentially illegal, and if so, it could destroy Delaney Global and you. Even if you divorce him, your name is attached. Mara's pulse quickens. She'd been bracing for an affair scandal, not a criminal conspiracy. Galen wouldn't risk everything. Would he? Cecilia places a hand over Mara's. He worships power. That can blind a man. You need to protect yourself. A waiter arrives, placing water glasses in front of them. Mara barely notices. Her mind reels with this new revelation. She thinks about the baby, the empire, and the illusions of safety that once defined her life. They order, but the food and conversation remain overshadowed by tension. Cecilia's voice lowers. There's more. That text I got last night was from a friend in law enforcement. He said they're monitoring Galen's associates for money laundering. Mara nearly drops her glass. Money laundering? Are you certain? Cecilia purses her lips, nodding. I wouldn't have believed it if it wasn't from a trusted source. Right now, it's only suspicion. But if it solidifies, there could be arrests, indictments. Mara's eyes drift to the cafe window, where couples stroll by, carefree. She remembers when she lived that life love, hope, excitement for the future. Now, reality has sunk in. Her husband might be entwined in something criminal. Her unborn child's father might face charges. She can't fathom the fallout. A single tear forms, but she wipes it away. I have to find a way out, or at least a way to protect my child, she whispers, across the table. Cecilia nods gravely. Together they share a silent vow. No matter what storms come, they won't let Mara face it alone. Night falls again, and Mara scours the digital logs Holden provided. She's in her home study, a large wooden desk illuminated by a single lamp. The hush of the penthouse feels oppressive. In the hallway, she hears soft footsteps, house staff going about final duties. She notes the clock nearly midnight. She scrolls through line after line Galen's after-hour entries, private car services, escorts to high-end clubs, boutique hotels. A pit forms in her stomach. One location repeats the Darlington Tower. Her brow furrows. She's heard rumors about that place, part luxury suites, part hush-hush business enclaves. The logs show multiple visits with an unidentified companion. often logged under guest. Desperate for clarity, she cross-references the dates with her own memory. On those nights, Galen had claimed to be working late or hosting a prospective investor. She flips open a notepad, scribbling details. The further she digs, the more blatant it seems an affair or something equally personal. Possibly a contact for these illicit deals. Suddenly, a voice behind her burning the midnight oil. She jumps, turning. Sullivan Madsen stands there quietly, arms folded. Security logs can be disturbing, he says, stepping closer. Mara sets her pen down, heart pounding. Yes, this is even worse than I imagined. He gently asks, what's your next move? She exhales, fighting tears. I might have to confront him with hard evidence, but if he's really involved in criminal activity, confronting him alone could be dangerous. Sullivan nods gravely. I can accompany you if you decide to confront him in a controlled setting, but watch your back. I fear there's more at play. She closes the laptop, meeting his gaze. Why are you helping me? You've worked for Galen for years. He looks away for a moment, as though choosing his words carefully. I owe him my career, but I owe you and your child basic human decency. I've seen too many lives destroyed by greed. I can't stand by this time. Emotion warms her chest. She's grateful for this small kindness. Thank you, she whispers. Sullivan nods, lingering a moment before retreating. Mara's alone again, the lamp's glow casting a halo on the scattered papers. She rubs her belly protectively. The baby shifts, almost as if offering a gentle reminder, I'm here. She turns to her phone, contemplates calling Cecilia, but it's late, and Cecilia might be asleep. Instead, she flips through news articles about the Darlington Tower. One headline catches her eye, financier linked to alleged mob ties purchases top floors. She sees a name, some shell company, and wonders if Galen's partner is entangled with them. She can't confirm yet. It's speculation upon speculation, turning her world murky. Her gut twists. A baby on the way, a marriage in jeopardy, potential criminal entanglements. She gazes at a family portrait on the mantel, her Galen, beaming at a yacht party last summer. She thought that day was perfect. Now it feels like a staged lie. Exhausted, she shuts down her laptop, stands up. Tomorrow, she might find more direct answers. But as she heads to bed, she senses the darkness creeping in, a shadow of betrayal that extends far beyond a mere affair. Something in her warns the truth will hurt far worse than you ever expected. The next morning, Mara arranges a secret meeting with an old acquaintance, Detective Iris Hawthorne of the Footy's Financial Crimes Division. They meet in a discreet cafe, one that prides itself on anonymity for high-profile clients. Detective Hawthorne, a tall woman with cropped silver hair, greets Mara with a firm handshake. You look anxious, she says in a measured tone, sliding into a booth across from Mara. Mara leans in, voice hushed. I have reason to believe my husband, Galen Delaney, is involved in illegal property deals, maybe worse. I need to know if there's an active investigation. Hawthorne's eyes narrow, scanning Mara's face. If there were, it's not something I can discuss with the public. Mara inhales deeply. She expected that. I'm not here for gossip. I'm here because I'm pregnant, stuck in a marriage that might crumble, and I don't want to be implicated if Galen is breaking the law. The detective regards her for a moment. What makes you think you'd be implicated? Mara slides a file folder across the table. Inside are copies of transaction logs, suspicious wire transfers, and references to the Darlington Tower. Hawthorne's eyebrows lift. She flips through the pages, her expression growing serious. Where did you get these? Mara keeps her tone level. From Galen's own security logs, plus statements from an inside source. I can't reveal everything, but you can see the pattern: consistent meetups at questionable locations, unaccounted funds. Hawthorne leans back, considering. These are red flags, no doubt. I can't confirm or deny an investigation, but this might accelerate certain steps. Mara's heart races. She hates the idea of a criminal probe into her husband, but the truth is crucial. I just need to protect my child and my name. If I file for divorce, or if Galen is arrested, Hawthorne nods. You want to avoid being collateral damage. She taps the folder. If you hand these over officially, I can't promise your name won't come out, but it strengthens any existing case. The moment he realizes you've cooperated, expect backlash. Mara closes her eyes. She can almost hear Galen's furious voice, feel his wrath, but she must do the right thing. For her unborn baby, for her own future. Do it, she says quietly. Use the information as you see fit. I just can't stay silent. Hawthorne slides the folder into her own bag. You're sure? Mara nods, though a shiver runs through her. I'm sure. They stand to leave, tension thick. The detective offers a parting glance. Be careful. When men at Galen's level feel threatened, they strike back. Mara wraps her coat tighter, stepping out into the crisp air. She's crossing a line of no return. The baby flutters inside her as if responding to the weight of her decision. She reminds herself this is about justice, about ensuring her child grows up free from the stain of illegal wealth. She hails a cab, mind whirling with the consequences. As the taxi speeds away, she notices a sleek black SUV following at a distance. Her heart pounds. Is that Galen's security tailing her? Or something worse? Fear grips her, but she breathes through it. There's no turning back now. The hidden past is cracking open, and with it comes a new perspective on the man she once loved. Events move fast after Mara's meeting with Detective Hawthorne. Within a week, hushed rumors swirl around Delaney Global, whispers of an impending federal investigation. Subtle changes in staff attitudes. More caution, sideways glances, doors shutting quickly in corridors. In the midst of this storm, Galen calls Mara to his private suite in the penthouse. She hesitates, but agrees. She finds him standing by the window, staring at the city. His posture is tense. The overhead lights accentuate the dark circles under his eyes. Mara. He begins, voice subdued. I'd like to fix things. Her heart twists. Fix. She expects him to be furious about her behind-the-scenes inquiries, but he appears almost contrite. After everything, the secrets, the lies, he glances over. I know you've been talking to people. You think I don't have my own sources? He breathes out slowly. I realize I drove you to it, but you must understand, I'm dealing with high-level negotiations. Some might look suspicious on paper, but they're just big moves. Nothing illegal. She stiffens, recalling the evidence. So I shouldn't believe my own eyes, my own instincts. What about that repeated hotel log? The Darlington Tower. He steps forward, ignoring her pointed question. Think about the baby. Mara, we're about to become parents. We need stability, not scandal. He tries to place a hand on her shoulder. She flinches away. A cold wave of realization he's not here to apologize. He's here to coerce her back into silent compliance. What if the scandal is real, she counters, voice trembling. He rubs his temples. I can't do this with you right now. We have a new real estate launch to finalize. I need your support for the public image. I need you at my side for the upcoming gala. Stop. She snaps, stepping away. I'm not a prop for your PR. I'm your wife. Or at least I was. If you want me to stand by you, you need to prove you're innocent. Show me everything. The accounts, the deals. Let me see for myself. His eyes flick with alarm. Those are confidential. I have partners who'd insist on privacy. Her chest aches with hurt. So you can't even pretend to be transparent. She lowers her voice. Galen, if you continue like this, you'll lose everything. He stiffens. Don't threaten me. She searches his face. Is there any trace of the man she once loved? He's become a hardened shell, guarding secrets that might destroy them both. It's not a threat. It's a warning. He holds her gaze. For a moment, regret flickers in his eyes, but it's overshadowed by pride. I'll protect this family in my own way. She steps back. We have different idea of protection. Her hand drifts protectively to her belly. I'm done enabling your illusions. If you want me at your cimenta, clean up your mess. If not, she trails off. But the ultimatum hangs thick in the air. Tension crackles. Finally, she turns and leaves. Heart pounding. She senses their collapse is near. Yet even now, a spark inside her fights for a future free from these tangled lies. She clings to that faint hope, unaware of how close she is to the hardest fall of her life. 3 days later, the storm hits. Federal agents, accompanied by local authorities, sweep into Delaney Global. The media is there in minutes, capturing the scene men in suits bearing insignias of regulatory and law enforcement agencies, stepping past startled receptionists. Mara watches from a distance. Standing on the sidewalk across the street, her heart pounds. She sees employees ushered out of the building in confused clusters, whispers about search warrants, seized records, possible arrests. Photographers snap pictures, reporters talk into cameras. This is a stunning development for billionaire Galen Delaney, once hailed as the city's real estate titan. Beside Mara stands Cecilia Bloom, arms folded, face grim. They're not kidding around, she mutters. This looks huge. Mara clenches her jaw. She imagines how Galen must be reacting, probably yelling at lawyers, insisting on innocence, blaming scapegoats. Part of her wants to run inside, but logic keeps her pinned. She can't risk being seen as a conspirator. Not now. She thinks of the folder she handed over to Detective Hawthorne. It must have played a part in this raid. Guilt and relief wage war within her. She wanted the truth exposed, but never imagined it would erupt so violently. She strokes her belly, the gesture more for comfort than anything. The baby, as if sensing the turmoil, kicks softly. After an hour, men exit with boxes of documents, computers, and sealed evidence. Cameras flash. Newscasters comment in hushed excitement. A wave of dread floods Mara Delaney Global might collapse if these allegations hold. That means everything tied to her husband, possibly everything tied to her as well, could come under scrutiny. Cecilia checks her phone. People are already tweeting about insider deals, money laundering. Project Redwood, it's chaos. Mara's eyes sting with tears. She pictures the philanthropic events she once hosted under Delaney Global's banner. The scholarships for underprivileged youth, the hospital wings named after them. Was it all built on illusions? Suddenly, Sullivan Madsen emerges, eyes scanning the crowd until he spots Mara. He weaves through reporters, ignoring their frantic questions. Reaching her, he leans in. You need to leave. Mara, she trembles. What about Galen? Izzy Sullivan looks troubled. They're questioning him inside. It's not good. He demanded to see you, but the agents said no. They're on high alert, especially after discovering certain offshore accounts. Mara's heart sinks. Sullivan gently places a hand on her shoulder. Voice low. Go home. This is about to become very public. Protect yourself and the baby. She nods numbly. Her world is crashing down in front of live cameras. People shuffle around her, some pitying, others gawking. She can't endure the crowd any longer. Cecilia ushers her to a waiting car, and they slip away from the chaos. In the car's rear seat, tears finally break free. She tries to catch her breath, but sobs rack her. Cecilia holds her hand, offering silence rather than empty words. Mara knows it's not just the end of Galen's illusions. This is the moment her old life dies. They drive through the city, passing the same skyline that once symbolized Galen's unstoppable ambition. Now all she sees are hollow monuments to a dream that might never have been real. That evening, Mara lies on her bed, feeling the emptiness of the penthouse. Reporters clamor outside, hungry for a statement. Her phone pings constantly calls from associates, messages from acquaintances offering condolences or prying for information. She ignores them all. At last, she clicks on a voicemail from her obstetrician, Mara. We need to follow up on your latest prenatal tests. Please call us. Her heart quickens. Another worry. She promises herself she'll handle it soon. But right now, she can barely breathe under the weight of what's happening. The front door opens, and footsteps echo. She tenses. Galen steps inside, disheveled, tie undone. His eyes are red with anger. She sits up, crossing her arms over her chest. He slams the door behind him, voice low and seething. You did this. He's not screaming, but his fury is palpable. You handed over evidence. You betrayed me. I saw Detective Hawthorne's notes. Your name was in them. Mara's breath hitches. She expected this confrontation. I told you to stop, to be transparent. But you refused. I had no choice. He paces like a caged animal. No choice. You destroyed our empire. The feds are rummaging through everything. Investors are fleeing. Do you realize the billions at stake? She stands, pressing a hand protectively over her belly. And what about the child at stake? The future you endangered with reckless deals. You lied to me. Galen. He points a trembling finger. We could have weathered any storm if you just trusted me. Instead, you sided with outsiders. Your own husband. Does that mean nothing? She shakes her head, tears brimming. You're the one who made it meaningless. I was left in the dark. I saw a moral line I couldn't cross. He laughs bitterly. Morals, you married me. A man you knew would do whatever it took to rise. Now you feign shock that I used every resource. Her anger flares. I never asked you to break the law. If you did, that's on you. A thick silence. Then he hisses. They'll come for you too. Don't think your hands are clean. You've spent the Delaney money freely. Enjoyed the lifestyle. The feds will see you as complicit. She falters. That's not true. I didn't know. He steps closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. Ignorance isn't a defense in court. And guess what? Our entire brand is under my name. If I go down, I'll make sure you do, too, unless you help me fight this. She swallows hard. This is the final blade, a threat, a demand for loyalty after everything. I won't lie to cover your crimes. He narrows his eyes, then prepare to lose everything. Without waiting for her reply, he storms out of the suite, leaving the door ajar. Mara collapses onto the bed, trembling. She can't believe the man she once loved now threatens her with legal doom. Darkness edges her vision. She tries to quell the panic for the baby's sake, taking deep, shaking breaths. She wonders, is this truly the end, or is there a faint spark of hope hidden somewhere in the silent penthouse? All she hears is her own heartbeat pounding like a desperate drum. Days pass like a blur. Mara's legal counsel, Inez Lockhart, files for a formal separation. Financial investigators press Mara with questions. Did you know about the shell companies? Did you sign any documents? She keeps repeating that she was unaware, terrified they won't believe her. Sullivan Madsen quietly arranges private protection for Mara. He insists it's standard procedure, but she senses deeper concern. Perhaps Galen has more dangerous allies who might see her as a liability. One afternoon, Mara meets Detective Hawthorne in a government office. She sits in a stark interview room with fluorescent lighting that feels cold on her skin. Hawthorne enters with a file, face unreadable. We need your official statement, she says. Mara nods, her voice trembling. She recounts her discovery of suspicious transactions, her conversation with Sullivan, the logs from the Darlington Tower. She emphasizes she never agreed to any illegal dealings. The detective records every word, occasionally asking for details. After 2 hours, they wrap up. Before leaving, Hawthorne's demeanor softens. Off the record, we suspect Galen has high-power connections, corruption at multiple levels. If he tries to shift blame to you, we'll see through it, but it won't be easy. He's already painting you as the hysterical wife. Mara sets her jaw. So I have to prove my sanity. On top of everything else, Hawthorne gives a sympathetic nod. It's an old tactic used against women, especially pregnant women. Don't let them rattle you. Mara steps out, feeling a surge of defiance. She won't let Galen ruin her. She heads to the main hall, where Cecilia Bloom waits. Cecilia catches the pain in Mara's eyes. How bad was it? Mara forces a small smile. We'll see. I told them the truth. That's all I can do. They walk toward the exit. Cecilia gently presses a folder into Mara's hand. A friend dug these up. They're screenshots of messages between Galen and a woman named Astrid Chan, an architect based in Hong Kong, who's rumored to be more than a business associate. Her voice drops. Check the timestamps. They coincide with his hotel visits. Mara's heart sinks further. So it's not just financial corruption. There's an affair after all, tying it all together. She flips through the pages, her throat tight. He was with her while I was home alone. Pregnant. Cecilia nods sadly. I'm sorry. They exit the building. Stepping into the swirling chaos of the city, cameras flash again, reporters tailing them, shouting questions. Mara's bodyguard wards them off. She tries to keep her composure, ignoring the rapid-fire accusations and rumors. Mrs. Delaney, did you help launder money? Is it true you used charity funds? Where is Mr. Delaney now? Mara climbs into an SUV, shutting the door on the barrage. She stares at the folder, fists clenched. She can handle the heartbreak of betrayal, but this public humiliation feels like an open wound. She glances at Cecilia, voice soft. He's going to fight like a cornered animal. Cecilia nods. So will we. You have more allies than you think. Mara steels herself. She realizes that the biggest confrontation is yet to come, a confrontation that's about truth, personal dignity, and the child she refuses to let be tainted by Galen's sins. This time, she won't back down, no matter how vicious the battle becomes. A week later, a private hearing is scheduled in a top-floor courtroom downtown. Mara, represented by Inez Lockhart, faces off against Galen and his high-profile attorney, Barrett Walsh. The legal drama is closed to the public, but rumors swirl outside. Inside the wood-paneled courtroom, a judge reviews preliminary evidence of Delaney Global's alleged financial misconduct and the possibility of seizing shared marital assets. Mara sits quietly, hands folded over her baby bump, trying to steady her breath. Barrett Walsh stands, launching into a defense strategy. My client, Galen Delaney, has built a reputable empire. Mrs. Delaney's accusations stem from emotional distress due to her pregnancy and perceived marital issues. There's no concrete evidence she was kept in the dark. Mara tightens her jaw. She sees the angle they're painting her as the irrational wife. She glances at Inez, who nods in reassurance. When it's Inez's turn, she rises confidently. We have logs, documents, and statements indicating Mr. Delaney engaged in questionable financial transactions without Mrs. Delaney's knowledge or consent. We further request that Mrs. Delaney's personal inheritance and trust remain protected, free from any seizure due to Mr. Delaney's alleged crimes. Galen shifts uncomfortably at the defendant's table. For a moment, Mara catches his eye, but there's no warmth there, only cold determination. The judge flips through the files. Mr. Delaney, do you contest these claims? He stands, a picture of composure in an expensive suit. Your Honor, I dispute any suggestion I misled my wife. She was privy to my expansions, even if she didn't understand the complexities. Our finances have always been intertwined. If any wrongdoing is found, we'll address it. But this is not a reason to freeze or separate marital assets prematurely. Mara's pulse races. He's playing the successful, misunderstood businessman. She fights the urge to speak, remembering Inez's advice to let the evidence talk. Then, in a stunning twist, Barrett Walsh produces a document. We'd also like to introduce a prenup agreement signed years ago, indicating any business expansions remain under Mr. Delaney's exclusive control. Mara's heart drops. She recalls signing something early in the marriage, simple property guidelines. She thought she had no idea it extended to future expansions. Inez quickly scans the pages, her expression darkening. The judge narrows her eyes at the new piece of evidence. We'll need time to assess the validity. For now, sir, I see grounds to maintain a close watch on all Delaney Global assets until the ongoing federal investigation concludes. She raps her gavel lightly, setting the next hearing date. A swirl of tension floods the room. Galen's side looks partially relieved, having introduced the prenup. Mara's side is unsettled by this curveball. As the session adjourns, Galen approaches Mara, voice low and bitter. You never should have escalated this. Now look where we are. She meets his gaze, refusing to show fear. You brought us here. Galen, remember that? He scoffs. Turning away, she notices Astrid Chan in the gallery, a tall, poised woman with glossy black hair. Their eyes meet, and Mara senses triumph in the other woman's expression. Her nails dig into her palm. Another layer of betrayal. Outside, cameras wait. Mara braces herself, stepping into the swirl of flashbulbs and shouted questions. This confrontation is far from over. In the back of her mind, she wonders if the worst is yet to come. Later that evening, Mara retreats to Cecilia Bloom's townhouse, an elegant but cozy space. She couldn't face returning to the penthouse, not after the new revelations. Security is posted discreetly outside. She's exhausted, numb. Cecilia ushers her to the living room, offering a warm cup of tea. You should rest, she says gently. Stress isn't good for the baby. Mara nods absently, sinking onto a plush sofa. She sips the tea, letting its warmth steady her shaky nerves. Her mind replays the day's events, the hearing, the prenup, Galen's icy glare, and Astrid's silent presence. She's fighting not just a financial war, but an emotional one. Cecilia sits beside her. Or there's something else. Sullivan reached out. He says Galen is planning to shift funds overseas as soon as possible. If he succeeds, it'll look like you were part of it. He might even claim you authorized it. Mara's eyes widen, tension coiling in her chest. So he wants to pin the blame on me, potentially. Cecilia answers, voice trembling. He's desperate. The investigating agencies are closing in. If he can't salvage his fortune, he'll need a scapegoat. Mara sets the teacup down, her hands shaking. The panic of losing everything rises, but a flicker of defiance follows. She thinks of the unborn child she must protect. No more running, no more tears. Then we need to catch him in the act, she whispers. If I can prove he's orchestrating this without my consent, I can clear my name. Cecilia nods. How Mara stands, pacing the living room. Sullivan can feed us real-time updates on his transactions. We'll loop in Detective Hawthorne. Maybe we can get a direct link proving Galen is shifting money illegally. Cecilia exhales, stepping closer. That's dangerous. If Galen senses a trap, he'll lash out. Mara's eyes shine with resolve. He's already lashed out. Threatened to ruin me. He left me no choice. A moment of silence passes. Two women weighed down by the magnitude of facing a powerful man with everything to lose. Then Cecilia's phone buzzes. She checks the screen, biting her lip. It's from your obstetrician's office. They've been trying to reach you. Want me to put it on speaker? A rush of anxiety. Yes. She braces herself, and Cecilia answers, placing the call on speaker. A calm voice from the doctor's office. Mrs. Delaney, we received some concerning results from your last blood test. We need you to come in for an urgent follow-up. Mara's heart lurches. Is the baby okay? The voice is gentle but firm. We can't discuss specifics over the phone. Please schedule an immediate appointment. After the call ends, Mara feels tears threaten again. Another wave of fear. She's fighting a war on multiple fronts, her marriage, potential criminal charges, and now a pregnancy complication. Cecilia clasps her hand. You'll get through this. One step at a time. Mara inhales sharply, nodding. She places a protective palm against her belly. The child hasn't even been born, yet is already caught in a storm of betrayal and greed. She silently vows to endure. No matter how hard the battle, someone out there hasn't played their final card yet. She can almost sense it, a looming twist that could flip everything again. Early the next morning, Mara visits the obstetrician, accompanied by Cecilia. The waiting room is hushed. Mara fills out forms mechanically, her mind spinning with anxious thoughts about both her baby and her crumbling life. Eventually, Dr. Alicia Penrose invites her in. Cecilia waits outside to give her privacy. Mara settles into the chair, fidgeting. Dr. Penrose reviews the chart. First, let me say the baby's overall growth looks stable, but your blood pressure is elevated, and there's a possibility of gestational complications if stress continues. Mara's throat tightens. So the baby is, for now, the baby seems okay, but you need to reduce stress drastically. We should monitor you closely. Any spike in blood pressure could endanger both of you. Doctor, Penrose's tone is calm but urgent. Mara exhales, relief tempered by the command for peace that feels impossible. She leaves the office with new medication and a warning rest. Hydration, no severe stress. As she steps back into the corridor, Cecilia sees the tension in her eyes. Outside, the bright morning sun hits Mara's face. She steadies herself, remembering her vow protect the baby, no matter what. The next steps flash in her mind, forging a plan to expose Galen's financial shift, meeting with Detective Hawthorne again, ensuring she's safe from blame. A black SUV pulls up. Sullivan Madsen steps out, looking grim. Mara, I have info. Galen's finalizing a massive wire transfer at noon, offshore account in the Caymans. He offers a slip of paper. Here's the partial routing number. If we get this to Hawthorne, Mara's heart hammers. It could be enough to prove his direct involvement. She finishes. She glances at Cecilia, who nods in support. They pile into the SUV, tension thick. Sullivan drives, weaving through morning traffic. They call Detective Hawthorne, who instructs them to meet at a discreet location. Mara clenches her seatbelt. Each minute feels like an eternity. They arrive at a nondescript government building. Hawthorne meets them in the lobby, leading them to a small office. Mara hands over the slip of paper with trembling fingers. He's making the transfer soon. You can intercept it or track it, she urges. Hawthorne's eyes light with determination. She radios her team, requesting immediate attention on the Caymans route. If we can confirm Galen is actively laundering money, that cements the case, she says. Mara rubs her belly, trying to calm her pulse. Sullivan stands by her side protectively. Cecilia grips her hand. This is it, the final blow to Galen's scheme. The proof that could clear her name and ensure she's not implicated. Hawthorne's phone buzzes. She listens, nods, then hangs up. We have a freeze order in progress. If all goes well, we'll catch him mid-transfer. He'll have no excuse, no scapegoat. Mara exhales a shaky breath. The end is near, or so she hopes. Cecilia's phone chimes. She checks it and frowns. You won't believe this. There's talk that Astrid Chan is on a flight out of the country. She's vanishing. Mara's stomach churns. She imagines Astrid escaping with a piece of the puzzle. We'll deal with her later. Hawthorne cuts in. First, let's nail Galen's financial wrongdoing. A flicker of hope shines in Mara's weary heart. She envisions a future where she's free from Galen's manipulative grasp, raising her child without the shadows of criminal corruption. They stand there, bracing for the next phone call that will confirm whether the plan worked. Behind them, the hum of official activity continues. Men and women in suits pass by, oblivious to the life-altering stakes hidden in that slip of paper. Mara closes her eyes, steels herself. She's ready to face whatever the final confrontation brings. An hour later, the phone rings in Hawthorne's office. Everyone tenses. Hawthorne answers, silent at first. Then a smile of triumph creeps onto her face. She ends the call, turning to Mara, Sullivan, and Cecilia. We got it. The wire transfer. Galen was authorizing it in real time. Our forensic team froze the funds, and we have definitive proof linking him to money laundering. A dizzy wave of relief floods Mara. She closes her eyes, tears streaming. It's over. Finally. Her baby can grow without the father's crimes looming over them. Cecilia hugs her gently, mindful of her condition. Sullivan exhales, a solemn nod acknowledging their victory. But the moment of triumph doesn't last. Another agent rushes in, handing Hawthorne a folder. She flips it open, her expression darkening. We have an unexpected development, Hawthorne says, voice grim. Mara's heart clenches. What now? Hawthorne reads quickly, then looks up. Moments before we froze the account, there was a large outgoing transfer. To your name. Mara blinks in confusion. My name? That's impossible. I didn't authorize anything. Hawthorne bites her lip. That's what's so suspicious. The transaction is documented as you sending funds to an untraceable entity. It's a setup, presumably, one that suggests you were part of the laundering scheme. A cold dread seeps into Mara's veins. She glances at Sullivan, who looks horrified. Cecilia gasps softly, he did it. He tried to frame you at the last second. Hawthorne's jaw clenches. We can prove that you never made that transfer, but we'll have to fight. The digital signature might appear to be yours. This complicates the case. Galen could argue in court that you orchestrated the entire scheme. Mara feels her knees wobble. She nearly collapses. Sullivan grabs her arm, steadying her. After all she's done, after risking everything, Galen had one last trap. He's not going down alone. He wants to drag her with him. She forces herself to stand tall. Then we'll fight it, she says, voice trembling but resolute. I have you, detective, and all this evidence. I won't let him bury me. Hawthorne nods. We'll clarify your innocence, but it means more legal battles, more scrutiny. Cecilia rubs Mara's back gently. You'll get through it. The truth is on your side. For a moment, silence. Mara thinks of the unborn child. She thought the story reached closure, but this final twist reveals Galen's cunning extends even deeper. She can almost see the smirk on his face when he orchestrated that last transaction. She places a hand on her belly, steadies her breath. Hawthorne's phone buzzes again. She answers, face stony. When she hangs up, she says, they've arrested Galen at his private residence. He's been taken into custody. A pause. He's naming you as a co-conspirator. Tears slip down Mara's cheeks, but behind them shines fierce determination. Let him say what he wants. We'll show the truth. Outside the window, the city glitters. For Mara, this is both an ending and a new beginning. She finally dismantled Galen's web of lies. Now she must face the final shot, clearing her name against his deliberate frame-up. Her child's future depends on it. She lifts her chin. Her voice is soft but unwavering as she says, this fight isn't over.